Welcome to The Road Ahead. Today we spoke with Pat Smarto, who's a local real estate agent, and she owns a brokerage here locally in Fox Lake. We learned about first-time buying advice, real estate transactions, and how they work.
One of the things that was really interesting was first-time home buying, and some of the things that she said will really help.
Let's get into it. So, Pat, what originally drew you into real estate?
So it started prior to the crash of 2008. My husband and I decided we'd flip a house. So we were working with a realtor looking at a lot of houses. And at some point she said, you're kind of good at this. Why don't you get a license? And I thought, okay, because then if we flip more houses, I can find them rather than having her find them. And that was the start of it. That was the genesis of it. No real thought, just let me try this out.
Was it in this area, Pat?
It was in this area. I had left a job when my son was born. I was a national sales account manager in the telecom industry in Chicago, downtown. So I was new out here. If you're not born here in a third generation, you're new
Right.
to this area.
Right.
So I was definitely new.
What brought you to the chain?
My parents started boating in the chain in the 40s. They lived in the city, had their outboard, came up and rented basically a rowboat. And I grew up on the water up here. So I was up here a lot in the summertime, but we lived in the northwest suburbs.
You've seen a lot of changes in the area, haven't you?
An amazing amount of changes. Just the boats alone, how different they are than when I was a kid.
And our area really was known as a vacation area.
It was cottages.
Right.
It really was. There weren't, and my dad tried to talk my mom into moving up when I was a kid, and she didn't want to be out in no man's land where all the cottages got shut down, and she wouldn't have anybody to be with two small kids. So we just summered up here, and I love it.
Oh, yeah. The Fox Lake area, I grew up here, so did my dad as well, and we love it out here. It's been amazing to see the changes. I think it's one of the most underrated areas really in Illinois and the country.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm constantly beating that drum of how great it is up here. Our access to forest preserves, and a lot of people complain about restaurants, but those of us up here know we can find them,
right.
Places to go to.
You don't live in a restaurant.
You don't live in a restaurant, exactly. And people are just nice. That sounds really simplistic, but people are really just nice. And you don't find that in a lot of, get further in, closer to the city, you just don't find that. And I feel lucky to have been able to be up here and raise my son up here. So
fantastic. Could you walk us through a little bit just how a real estate transaction works? I know it's a complicated question.
It's a complicated question. Am I on the buy side or the sell side?
On the selling side.
Okay. So obviously you engage in a realtor. So I have a lot of experience. I come and give you my pitch. We are selling ourselves every day as realtors, whether it's to a buyer or to a seller. I just came from pictures, so we do some staging. Had to drop plants off there to make sure that it's zhuzhed, as we like to say. There's an industry term, got to zhuzh it. And get it listed, get it live. We do a lot of social media promotion, as I know you guys do as well. That's where the eyeballs are. So print ads, that's really fallen out of favor. And then it's just managing showing, managing questions, and then hopefully managing offers and presenting it to the seller to determine it's not always the highest price. It's the best price that's going to close. So kind of having those discussions, everybody likes to focus on the high price, but if the buyer, we can see already cracks that it's not going to happen, we try to assess that. Get under contract. The buyers perform a home inspection, which includes having an inspector come out. They may put radon equipment in. That's become a very popular, that people test for radon. Then it's the second negotiation with the seller. If there are things that were not disclosed or the buyer became aware of them as part of the inspection, you're asking either to have those resolved or have a credit. Then most buyers are getting a loan. So that's where it's really critical to have a good lender that works with the buyers and holds their hand through that and gets your docs ready for the buyer's side. The challenge for a seller is until a buyer with a loan gets what's called clear to close or final loan commitment, you don't know for sure your house is going to sell. And that's usually a week before closing date. So that is a very nerve-wracking time for sellers. They have to believe we're closing and prepare for closing, but there are variables that could cause it not to close. The ultimate is getting to the table, watching the ink dry, and passing a key across.
Agreed.
I'm curious to know from your perspective, a young couple comes into you, first-time home buyer. What some advice would you give to people just entering the housing market?
Save money.
Down
Definitely
payment.
save money. I have the same issue that I'm sure you guys do when it comes time to look at financing for a buyer. Pay attention to your credit score. Don't max out your credit cards. Pay your stuff on time. They really, and I blame our school system for not really doing a great job.
Financial literacy.
Absolutely. They just don't teach it. And I have a 23-year-old and I beat him over the head his whole teenage years. And, he has a 750 credit score because I didn't let him get credit cards straight out of school. And the one that he had, you pay it every month. And we're just not teaching that to people. So the impact, as it affects your interest rate. It affects what you can buy. And so does what you've saved. So those two things together, they really need to pay attention to that in that year or two leading up to there.
Is there any secrets to getting the best rate possible? Interest rates are always a kind of a big thing when you're purchasing a big ticket item like a home or what we sell, cars and trucks.
Right.
And so that sensitivity is there. Is there a key to that?
I always tell my buyers to talk to at least two lenders. And same thing in your industry. It's not just the interest rate. What are all the charges that they're going to put for your loan processing? Because that can vary dramatically. So, yeah, great. You maybe are an eighth of a point lower, but they front loaded another $6,000 in charges that you didn't even realize. And all you were focusing on is comparing one number. And they really need to compare the whole package. And that's, again, back to financial literacy. No one's teaching them that. So it becomes my job to educate and our lenders to do that education process.
Always feel like, especially with, what we do as well, is like a consultative approach to selling and education is just super important in that process.
Absolutely. No question.
Pat, we understand that your office and you personally are involved in the community and you've done a lot of good things for the area. Can you talk about some things that you do and how you give back?
Well, one thing that I'm very actively involved in is I'm the chair of the advisory committee at the Fox Waterway Agency. So we're a bunch of volunteers that are trying to do everything we can to ensure that the water quality and the chain is able to be something that future generations can enjoy. So, and that's, such a key part as an economic driver for the entire Lake County, Lake McHenry County, that, I wanted to be there for my kids and beyond. We volunteer wherever we can in different events. I was at Rumfest taking tickets. Those times I was building a wall at your place for Habitat for Humanity. We try to get out there. I have a broker that fosters big dogs, Great Danes, Mastiffs. That's what she does, bless her heart. And we also participate in something called Homes for Heroes. So we are a Homes for Heroes affiliate. It's a nationwide program. And we give back a portion of our commissions to our local heroes. So that includes the obvious, which are those folks that have served our country or are currently serving our country, but also firefighters, EMS, police, healthcare professionals, and teachers. And we've given back I think we're at 9 years now, a little bit over $300,000.
That's a big number. And
it's a big number for a little office.
And you helped a lot of people.
Yep.
That's great.
We really
Congratulations.
believe in it. My dad was a Korean War veteran. And when I'm going to get choked up, but when I saw the program and how it worked, I felt it was a way to honor him.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yep. And it's a good cause, too.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep. Didn't plan on getting weepy.
Well, that just shows that you're passionate, that you care. And I think that's the key point in, any kind of transaction you do, whether you're selling cars, whether you're selling houses, it's caring about your clients. And ultimately, when you get in a position to give back, I think that's extremely important.
No question.
Extremely important.
We are both involved in a big financial transaction for people. And, it's important to be sensitive to their needs and help get them on the right path.
We were talking earlier that it's really, we are a consultant as well. We're somebody that we want to be trusted, part of their circle of trust, to go to when they have these big purchases and these things that they trust a professional with. And you're one of those people, it sounds like, and you try to establish yourself there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you ever see yourself, because you have a brokerage too, correct?
Correct.
Did you ever see yourself doing that? I mean, from what you were telling us, like, hey, like I'll just try out this real estate thing, and now you have a brokerage. Like, walk us through that.
So it's something I say. I have my kid's 23, so a bunch of friends graduating from college, so worried about finding that first job. It's got to be the perfect first job.
Right.
And every single one, I said to him, you're going to have 5 jobs at least before you're done. And I'm a classic example. I did hospital equipment inventories. Then I ended up working for a telecom company. And then had a little time off and went, I'll try this real estate thing. And I'm a great example I got my real estate license when I was 49. That's starting something completely different. And I love it. And it just grew from there.
Don't you find, and you're a great example, if you love what you're doing, it's pretty easy.
Right. It's fun to go to work every day.
That's right.
Yeah. Even when it's hard.
Even on a hot day.
Yes.
Just don't make me show houses today, please.
I know we spoke earlier about the buying and selling process. How emotional is the home buying process compared to what people expect?
It's a roller coaster. And we were talking before we got started about inventory. So if you're a young couple, maybe you've saved up 5 or 10%, and you're out there competing for that perfect house. And it's very emotionally charged, falling in love with a house, feeling like you want to commit to it. And because of the way the market is, I need you to fall in love right now so that we can write an offer. And you may be up against 5 or 7 offers, and you may not be the strongest, so you don't get chosen. And then I have to call you and say you didn't get chosen. They're sad because what they fell in love with, they can't have. And then the next week I say, okay, here's another one. Did you fall in love yet? Because we need to write an offer. And that can happen sometimes for buyers 5 times, 7 times. That's horrible. I hate them having to go through it because it's very emotional.
It's a roller coaster.
It's an absolute roller coaster.
We are happy you're in our community. And
Thank you.
We wish you all continued success in the future, and keep up the good work.
I shall.
What financial advice do you find yourself giving people repeatedly?
Save money and watch your credit score. I'm a broken record when it comes to that. Absolute broken record.
Good basics, though.
It's very good basics. It impacts every aspect of their lives, whether it's buying a house, buying a car, getting their homeowner's insurance. If your credit score is terrible, they'll charge you more for that. Every aspect of your life is affected by it now.
Tell us about the craziest house you've ever sold.
So it was a house that was a cottage. We were kind of talking about how it used to be just cottages up here. And this was a cottage on Fox Lake that hadn't been occupied for about 15 years. And it was very accessible from underneath for the critters in the neighborhood. And when I would have a showing, I would arrive 15 minutes early, open the door, yell, and stamp my feet as loud as possible so that they could all run down the walls and leave for my showing. And and you could hear them. It was really creepy with them going down the walls, but I didn't want them going down the walls while people were in the house.
Were they raccoons?
I think it was a mix of a little bit of everybody that was living there. It was kind of a critter motel of sorts.
So you had a whole family there.
I'm sure raccoons. I had chipmunks in there. I had squirrels in there. There were birds in there because there were windows that were broken. A little bit of everybody was living in there. So eventually the house did get torn down, no surprise. But there were a few people that thought, we can save it. And it's a lot of critters in your house to try to save.
I think that's a ton of critters. little too many.
That would give meaning to the word money pit, huh?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
It was a money pit. They built a beautiful house there, but they thought they could save it, and it really wasn't worth saving.
Sure. I know we talked too a lot about first-time home buyers. What advice would you give a first-time home buyer?
We're back to save money and watch your credit score. And when you're looking, and I have a young couple now, they are getting married in September. And I'm sending, and they don't want to look at anything. And finally I said, we just need to start looking at houses because first off, the pictures don't always accurately represent what the house is like on the inside. And second, you don't know what a tri-level or a split level or a ranch with a full base, you don't know what they feel like until you're in them. So you need to start feeling these houses because you may decide you like a split level or you like a tri-level. And until you walk in them, you're not going to be able to understand what that feels like living in there.
Great advice.
Yep. And be willing to look at kind of the ugliest house on the block. You're going to compete like crazy on the perfect one, but if you're willing to put a little sweat equity in, you're not going to be competing against as many buyers if you're struggling to win.
And you got to have a little imagination, I would imagine, too, what it could be.
What it could be, exactly. And, sometimes they want it to be all perfectly painted and all new carpeting, and those are easy fixes. As long as you've got the bones, you can make the house exactly what you want, and build your equity more quickly.
Right, and you can't buy space, right?
Correct.
Can't buy space. You could
Back
rework
to that location.
Yep. You can rework the existing of what you've got.
And we all perceive first-time buyers as that couple getting married in September, the young folks. I had one several years ago. They were the first-time buyers of a house in their entire family, and they were in their early 50s. So it was a whole new experience for them to buy their first house and to start that long line, hopefully, of building generational wealth through acquiring a house. And, that was one that really touched me because it meant so much to them at that point in their lives to be able to do that. They were able to bring mom in to live with them, and they knew they were going to have somewhere to spend the rest of their life. And it was really, really meaningful. But first-time buyers are not all 27.
Right.
Drive free and save big all month long at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake during the Freedom to Save sales event. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary with $250 lease payments on new Chevy models. With 1776 due at signing. With our huge selection, you're sure to find the perfect ride, but the deals won't last long and you won't want to miss these savings. So hurry into the Freedom to Save sales event at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or shop RayChevrolet.com, serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
On select models, 24-month lease with approved credit to well-qualified buyers. 1776 due at signing plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year. Photo for illustration purposes only. See dealer for details. Offer expires July 31st, 2026.
So, Dad, I think one of the big things that I love about our dealerships is we find a way and it happens every day, and it's one of the challenges that I enjoy, is how do we make our cars more affordable? How do we make it work for the customer's budget? Because everybody's got a budget, right? So I think that that's one of the challenges that we have. And what do you think the best way that we go about that is?
Well, first of all, we're fortunate. On the same campus, we have two great brands, actually, a few great brands, right? We have Chevrolet, we have Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And then we have pre-owned. And so we have pre-owned certified. So there's a bunch of avenues for people. And then there is leasing. That's one way to purchase and lease a new vehicle and save money per month. You have seen it as well as I have, that we can get a vehicle $20, $30, maybe more in some cases, maybe $50, less than a traditional purchase. Now, some people said, well, I don't own it. Well, we'll show you both ways. We'll compare it against a purchase, but if you look at what's best for you, is it the savings per month? Is it what you get at the end? If you have all the options with leasing, that's what's great about leasing. You can purchase it at the end and refinance it, all the while saving that monthly payment. Or you can hop into a new lease. You know, your needs may change too. How many times, Ray, have we seen where let's use a newlywed couple come in and buy a smaller vehicle, maybe a subcompact vehicle, and say, you know, we're going to have our first child. Now we need something bigger.
Lifestyle changes, right?
Huge. And we see it all the time. And so that allows you in 3 years, and you know how fast 3 years goes, and you're under warranty all at the same time.
And a lot of them come with prepaid maintenance too, so there's some cost savings there as well for the life of the vehicle during that period.
That's true. So that's a big way that we can facilitate cost savings for people. Plus, you know, we have hybrids, we have electric vehicles, we have those options where, you know, the purchase price with the rebates are very low, but you are insulated against the fuel cost. You don't have the fluctuation of a $4, $5, $6 a gallon fuel gamble.
Which we're kind of in right now.
Right. So there's that option. And then we go into pre-owned. We go pre-owned certified. We have vehicles that are budget vehicles. We have
Bravo budget with our Car Bravo program.
I think the pricing that we start at is around $4,000 to $5,000 on.
Exactly.
In
and it has a warranty too with the Bravo budget.
So there is options on, you know, the Bravo budget. There's options on the certified Bravo vehicles and the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram certified. So they're an alternative to a new vehicle, but less money. But affordability is a big topic, and it should be. And we're very fortunate. Chevrolet has been, you know.
What does a new price for a Track start at? It's
mid-20s.
And that's pretty good for a brand new car.
And the safety features. We have safety features that are really unparalleled on that vehicle, and the Trailblazer, which is all-wheel drive. And it's got great safety features and screens, the electronic screens, and all the tech that you'd want in a new vehicle, all in the mid to upper $20,000 range. And so, and people with challenged credit, we've got vehicles for them too, and good financing rates. So if you were challenged credit, we have an option for you. We have EVs, which are a great option. We have hybrids. We have Bravo Budget, which are pre-owned.
Chrysler certified, Mopar certified.
That's right. You've seen it yourself. What are some of the things that you steer your friends and people that come in the dealership? How do you manage the budget piece for your friends and guests that you talk to?
My biggest thing is always first thing finding out is, hey, does this car fit your lifestyle ultimately? Like, what kind of car are you looking for?
Your
right?
needs.
Your needs. Because we sell cars, we sell trucks, we sell sport utility vehicles, we sell sports cars, hybrids, EVs, gas, pre-owned. I mean, we've got quite the gamut. And I mean, between both of our stores, we've got, I mean, we rotate anywhere between 400 to 600 vehicles, new and used, which is a lot. It's not like back in the day pre-COVID where we had a lot more. Manufacturers aren't making as many cars as they used to. So, there is, for my age group, there's a lot of talk about affordability, quote unquote, there's an affordability crisis. I don't view it as a crisis. I think part of being a car dealer is with your customers and your customer base is trying to find a way to solve that issue, solve that problem, and find a vehicle that makes it work for them. I think that that's one of the greatest problems and challenges that we're employed to do is how do we make it work? How do we match up the right vehicle to your needs? That is what we do in the sales department. And I think one of the best things about the brands that we represent and the brands that we sell kind of covers everything that I just mentioned. We've got a product for everybody. We really do.
That's why it's options for people. We've got options for solving this issue for people. And that's people that want a new car, have to get a new car because it's aged. The average age on the fleet, I think, is
almost 14 years old.
That's what I thought. I thought it was approaching 14. It's the oldest it's ever been because of that issue. It's affordability. That's why. So we can help a lot of people get into a different vehicle, an updated vehicle, or a brand new vehicle. And even our pre-owned vehicles, most of them have warranties. And so you have confidence that, they're all inspected, they have warranties, and even, you save money. So there's a lot of different avenues at our two dealerships that we can offer. I think our inventory now is approaching, it's close to 800 vehicles, both new and used. And it's a lot of options for people, and it changes all the time.
And we're motivated sellers too. That's the big thing. I think you're going to find a ton of deals at both of our stores that we represent, whether it's, because I think a lot of people may not understand some of the pricing structures. When you're online and you're in store, if you look at our MSRP, that's a manufacturer suggested retail price, that's what every car dealer buys the cars for the manufacturer. But then dealer discounts and specials vary, and ours are the most competitive in Illinois. If you look at our Ray discount, what the advertising that we run on cable here on this show, we are motivated sellers.
And they're all transparent. All of our offers are transparent. We don't add fees. And unfortunately, in our business, that's a thing. People do that, and we do not. So everything is disclosed, and
We're easy to do business with. That's why we have the raised price promise. You see the MSRP, you see the dealer discount and rebates, you see the documentation fee, which is state mandated, the ERT or electronic registration title, that's on there, and then our price. Everybody can buy for it. New, used, you could walk in to our dealership or even call in over the phone and we'll give you a price right up front.
And that separates us right there. And you can do it with confidence. And confidence is a big thing. And your family has to know how much to budget, and you'll know how much to budget because we're transparent, and we want to be your choice for trust because we want to earn it, and we think your business is so important to us that that's how we approach every day.
And we've got such a good relationship too, not only with the manufacturer, that's how we're able to get as many cars as we've got at both stores, but also the banks and getting the financing. We work with over 50 different banks and lenders. Not every dealership does that. We do because we do a lot of business. So when you're considering purchasing a vehicle and when you think of affordability and you think of transparency and people to do business with, no better choice than ours. Be sure to stay connected, explore our inventory, schedule service, and learn more about everything happening at Ray Auto Group using the links below. Follow the podcast, join the conversation by liking, commenting, and sharing your thoughts. And as a listener of The Road Ahead, you'll receive a free oil change from Ray Chevrolet or Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Details are linked below. Follow Ray Chevrolet and Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on social media for updates, clips, tips, and future episodes. Thanks for listening to The Road Ahead. We'll see you next time.